Welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is NE255, and this is Module 12. We have hair. We're going to create a N-hair simulation. Basically, you're going to create two mini assignments, and one is going to be worth 10 points, the other one's going to be worth 30. I've got introduction videos, tutorials on how to create N-hair, and you're going to learn how to use the artisan tools to go ahead and shorten and lengthen and kind of style the hair a little bit. You're going to create a small animation with a simple object first, which is just going to be a ball. We're going to add hair to a ball, and then we're going to go ahead and add hair to, once you learn all the attributes and how to set the attributes for the N-hair and how to work it, then I'm going to move you to a mannequin head, and then you're going to go from there and create the simulation that you need with that one. Create the hair on your own. You can watch those videos. They're pretty thorough on the entire workflow, so make sure you watch them. The first one is again worth 10 points. So you're going to do two. You're going to create hair on a simple object, and then you're going to move on. You're going to create a play blast. You're going to render one frame in its rest position, and you'll do the same thing with the with the mannequin, the more realistic head. So you'll have to turn in two simulated animation test scenes and MB files, and you have to turn in two compressed Playblast movies, and you have to turn in two renders of each one of those and make sure that it is in the rest position. Okay, objectives, kind of what we just discussed. And my Module 12 lesson content lectures and video tutorials is about N-hair. The nice thing about N-hair, which is different, is that we start with that first, kind of like starting with, N particles or the old classic particles and then moving into N particles, is what we start with N-hair, and you can get some pretty good results. But the problem with that N-hair, there's only so much you can do. You can't really groom the hair. So if you're interested in grooming hair, make sure you click on this link here. And of course there's videos out there right now. We just didn't have the time this week to get deep into XGen as far as that goes. We're going to start with I don't know if it's next week. It probably is next week that I'm going to have you guys do a scene with XGen. Anyway, I look forward to that, but we're not going to be using hair with XGen, but you can definitely go on your own. Just get through with this tutorial first. I really want you using N-hair, not XGen right now. So I talk about the basic workflow for N-hair: creating hair on models, styling hair with curves, modify hair and nucleus node attributes, setting up hair, shading and shadowing, and rendering the scene. So I take you through the whole thing. There's no reason why you can't use Arnold. We just don't go through it. I get you started in one of the videos, and then then basically you guys will be on your own, because there's a lot more involved in setting up the lights. The hair is actually pretty easy to create. I mean, the shader and stuff with Arnold. It's got its own Arnold shader for hair. So basically the initial workflow is create a sphere, convert it to a passive collision, and then add the hair. And then make sure you play around with the attributes. I talked to you about how to create the attributes and how to change the attributes. Okay, and we can always start. You can always stop. Start position, current position, and hair. Set start position from current. And then we animate the hair, or animate the sphere. Kind of create a natural motion so you guys can see the basic, how the hair moves and stuff. And then instead of rendering the scene, we do render the scene. That's what you're going to turn in, and also we're going to do a play blast. Now you don't have to have it rendered when when you do a play blast. It's just a play blast. It's not a full-on render sequence and put them together. It's just a play blast. All right. So this is the thing you really have to pay attention to. The hair system shape node. It's the attributes, and I want you to read that very carefully. Or if you watch my videos, then come back to this and kind of look at some of the descriptions. These will help you if you get stuck or trying to figure out how things are working, and so these are all great descriptions. But a lot of them, there's most of them I hit, but there are some like forces I don't, so you can kind of look at that. Anyway, make sure you become familiar with this, and it's complete. There's nothing missing from the attributes, so if you have a question about something, just refer to this. Okay? Right. And then the course assignment, just like we talked about earlier, and I'll go through this step by step. The student will create nHair on a simple object first to learn how to set attributes and create a simple animation to test the hair simulation. The student will style the hair by adding, deleting, shortening, and lengthening nHair using the Artisan Paint tools. Student will create an nHair simulation on a human mannequin head and test the simulation with natural character movement. The student will create 2 nHair simulation animation tests and save those as MB files. The student will create 2 nHair simulated simple ball and human mannequin head animation tests and save those compressed XVID Playback movie files, and you will also turn in 2 renders of the hair simulation covering the ball. So make sure you're in rest position. Now, I don't want the hair sticking straight out. I don't need a rendering of that. Alright, course assignment. Okay, just take you through. Please watch all the videos from part 1, 2, 3, and 4 and follow along. You're going to need to turn in the one with the simple object, so that's at part 4 will be the end of that. And then the final simulation that you're going to be doing is I get you started, and you have to finish the rest of the simulation on your own. And it's no different than going right back up here again and starting from scratch and watching all these again if you forget how to do it. Okay, so everything you need to finish this is all the information's in all of these. Okay, but I get you started. I even show you how to rig real quick. I rig the character the way I want you to rig it, but you don't want to rig the character until you're finished and you're happy with your hair simulation. And then what you do is you hide your hair, and then you go ahead and create the rig that I show you, and how to bind the skin, and then how to animate it, and then you can turn your hair back on and then go ahead and do your play blast simulation. That's what I would recommend for this. Okay, if you have questions, go ahead and email me at jbars3@jcc.edu. Again, you got the grading rubric. You guys can read through all of this. It's just basically saying please watch the videos. Don't try to do this on your own without some kind of help. And that's why I create those videos for you. Again, I never stop anybody. In fact, I recommend and want you guys to look farther than what I'm teaching here. If you want to learn more about it, go ahead and go online and look for other video tutorials too as well to help you understand it. And there's some other ones that are really good with XGen hair, and they're pretty good. Now, there are other third-party products out there too. They're not cheap. In fact, I don't think there's anything free that does really good hair. Shaving a haircut comes to mind because I used to use that. I haven't used that for a while. It got kind of expensive to keep buying, and I don't do a lot of hair. You know, when it comes down to it, I usually do hair cards for anything that I create. It's a little easier, and it runs real time in Unreal. So anyway, so when you're all done, just make sure you look at the deliverables very closely. Make sure you know exactly what I'm grading you on, so double check that. The simple ball simulation is worth 10 points, and the mannequin head simulation is worth 30. Read those very carefully, and then read the deliverables. Make sure you deliver everything that I need. I'm going to need 3 things each. And make sure you get the folders properly named. And then I've got kind of a turn-in example of the ball with the hair. And then I've got the animation. Now I don't know why there's 2. I have no idea. Let me know if those are broken or whatever. But you know, I put 1 in and I'm like, okay, what the? So anyway, there it is. Good luck. I hope you have fun. It should be a pretty short week for you guys. Get it done early though. Don't wait till the last minute to get this done. But it should only take you maybe a couple hours to get everything done. It's a pretty short week, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a good week.